Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of another weekly reading vlog, and in this weekly reading vlog it is the last week of Winter-a-thon, which is hosted by Rainy. This has been a month-long readathon that I've been taking part in. It's a bingo board, and as we can see, the progress has not been going well, really. Last week I managed to get one extra slot filled, which was not where I want to be, but I'm hoping this week we can get a final bingo going, but that all depends on the other readathon that I'm taking part in, which is Danny's bucket list-a-thon, which I've been enjoying. Last week was the first time that I did that. We've got 3 more weeks of doing that, and that's just adding chaos into the mix. But I am currently in the middle of a couple of books that I'm bringing over from last week's reading vlog. So first of all, we have None Other Ninth. This is a sci-fi book that's really complex. The first one we're following Gideon, who's stuck on this 9th planet with Harrow, who is a necromancer, and she's been trying to escape, and in the first book she really isn't allowed to escape and instead gets signed up to be Harrow's bodyguard to take part in these trials competition thing that's going on. The second book takes everything we did in that first book, turns it on its head, and this third book has made me go, wait, what? What's happening? Where are we? And then when I got to grips with it all, I was like, oh, okay, I'm really enjoying this. There's not as much necromancy in this one, but I'm really intrigued to see where it's going. We do also have in this one like flashbacks, almost like a prequel to everything that happened, what has led up to where we are, why these things have happened, which I have been enjoying. I'm currently on page 204. I believe I'm in the middle of chapter 16. And yeah, I'm hoping that I'm going to get this one finished this week because I am really enjoying it. This was not on my November TBR. It was kind of like a wild card. Last week was a really weird reading week for me. I didn't finish a book, and my reading tastes were a bit all over the place, and this has been kind of exactly what I needed to just have something completely different to everything I've been reading lately. And this one, when we finish it, hopefully is going to be going for over 400 pages, which I did have a different book that was fulfilling last week, which then was DNF. It was a whole thing last week. Hoping that this week I'm going to get this one finished and we're filling that over 400 pages. I'm going to fill it in now with the hope that I do get it done. And then the other book I'm in the middle of is Miss Benson's Beetle, and this one was a buddy read with Kat, who's since decided to DNF this one over at the Fairy Librarian. I will have everyone linked below, by the way, so do give them all a follow. And this one is a historical fiction book, which is a bit different for me. Not normally my preferred reading taste, however, I'm liking this one. But I am planning to kind of take this one slowly, maybe read like 30 pages a day with a cup of tea or something is what I've been enjoying doing. In this one we're following Marjorie Benson, who is obsessed with finding this little beetle that may or may not exist, and we see her at the start where she decides her life has not gone the way she wants, and so she decides randomly one day, that's it, I'm done. Throws everything out the window and goes off on this adventure, enlisting the help of Enid Pretty, her assistant. And I really like seeing their dynamic. They're two very different people, but you see their friendship grow, you see how they kind of push each other outside their boundaries and stuff, and like their comfort zone, and I really like it. I'm enjoying it. Is it like my favorite thing ever at the minute? No, but I'm liking the story. It's really nice and yeah, just kind of quaint. I like it. I am intrigued. There's also an additional element to this book that I am enjoying that's kind of adding an extra bit of intrigue for me. I think without that, I would enjoy this for like a nice, slow, chill read, but the extra intrigue is making my enjoyment that little bit better when it comes to this book, which I'm appreciating. This one on Winter-a-thon is filling in for Thrifted, and hopefully I'm going to get this one finished this week. I am up to page 150, chapter 22. So like I said, I've got this week to finish up both of these books. However, I would really like to be able to actually get a bingo done, another one. So I've got the one diagonal so far, but if I do Thrifted and over 400 pages, that leaves one left, one corner, and then we could get 2 bingos, and that would be so good. And I do have a book on my TBR, November TBR, that would work really well for that prompt, but it all depends on Danny's game. So I am actually going to go for a 4th roll now, even though I am in the middle of these 2 books, and honestly trying to finish these 2 and getting a 3rd book finished, that's honestly pushing it, and I don't know how much reading I'm actually going to get done, but we're gonna damn well try. Let's do Danny's roll now. Hopefully it fits in for a prompt with the Winter-a-thon bingo board as well. That's what we're gonna hope for. So let's just get straight into the roll. If you don't know about bucket list-a-thon, I talk about it more and like the rules and stuff in last week's vlog, but you can also check out Danny's channel. She is the one that created it, and it is really fun to do. Okay, let's get ready for the chaos. Roll number 4. Here we go. So last week's vlog we finished on end of year goal. Now let's go for roll number 4 and hope that it fits with what I need to read. 5. Okay. 5. Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Intimidate and read. Favorite author. Hyped read. Start a series, or we could go in a little circle and land back on end of year goal. Okay, none of this is perfect, but I think I'm gonna go with hyped read. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not gonna lie, that roll kind of threw me off a bit, but we did end up on hyped read, and I'm pleased I actually went for that one because it actually all clicked and it works perfectly for the book I do actually need to read and want to finish before the end of the month, which is Every Exquisite Thing by Laura Stephen. Now this is a book that I got you all to vote on, so in my TBR game there's always one prompt that I get you to vote on what I end up reading for the month, so it's hyped in that way because this one got the most votes, but also this is a book I was really excited to read last year. I then just never picked it up. I never got around to it. It's actually a book I pre-ordered as well as got in my subscription box. Not with the subscription box anymore, but I was very excited when I got this one, and then I just never actually picked it up. So this book is a Picture of Dorian Gray retelling, which is why I was so excited for it. And we're following Penny, who is trying to do anything to continue her mother's legacy, even enrolling at the elite cutthroat Dorian Drama Academy, but then some things start really going badly after she gets her portrait painted. So I'm really intrigued to see what we're doing with The Picture of Dorian Gray, because The Picture of Dorian Gray is one of my favourite classics, so I'm really intrigued to see how that's being interpreted in this. Girls don't want beauty, girls want power, which sounds really intriguing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. It's one that I've been putting off for a while, but it is one that I was originally hyped to read and then became hyped when it was being voted on by you. Also trying to add this one into the mix. Now, am I a little bit crazy? I'm trying to get 3 books done this week, which honestly is insane considering I'm back to work on Wednesday. I've got a lot I need to read. We're on Sunday pretty much evening at this point. I'm still editing last week's video, so I actually want to get focused on that. And then I've got these books that I need to read, which in total is a lot of pages to read, but I also need to get these all finished by the 1st of December so that I am on time for finishing Winter-a-thon, which Every Exquisite Thing does work for a TBR veteran because it's been on my TBR for over a year unread, and so for me that's kind of a TBR veteran. Okay, yes, I have books that are older than that on my TBR to read that have been on my TBR for longer, but this still works because it is at least over a year old. I genuinely don't know if it's possible, but I'm really going to try my hardest to get all of this done. Regardless, it works for Danny's game for all of these 3, so that's fine. It's just for Winter-a-thon whether I can actually get all 3 of these finished in time. Wish me luck, I'm gonna need it, but right now I need to get back to editing last week's vlog, so I'm gonna trundle on, get on with that. I hope you're all doing really well. Please let me know what you've been up to and what you're reading, and if you took part in Winter-a-thon and how many bingos you got. I'm really hoping I get the second one. Really hoping. I mean, if I don't, I don't. It's fine. I at least got one, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I might surprise myself with the amount I get read. You never know. Alongside this, I also have my short story collection, which has gone somewhere to finish, but there's only 2 short stories in that, but I also want to get that done by the 1st of December so that I can start on the winter short story collection. That one's not so much of an issue. Like, if I finish it a couple of days into winter, it's not the end of the world, but I've got this all going on. I've also got my ebook that I'm reading for the Cozy New Releases vlog, because I dragged my feet with that vlog in starting it because I thought, oh, I've got loads of time, and then didn't think about the fact that, okay, yeah, that video doesn't come out until like the 17th of December, but in that time I've got my November reads, I've then got this readathon going on, I need to read and review the books for that video, and then from December I've got the new books coming out in December that I need to read for the next Cozy New Releases vlog. So did I plan this very well? No. So I'm in the middle of so many books, but I am having fun with it. And hopefully this week we'll actually finish a book. That's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully the next update will be some really good progress in reading, but honestly, I'm not holding my breath. figured while I've got some water on to boil, I would do a quick update because it's been a couple days. Although, just in case anyone's wondering, I am doing a really quick, easy lunch. I've got butternut squash and sage ravioli with a truffle flavoured Boursin sauce that I'm going to make, and it's going to be really nice and easy and quick. And I've also got some garlic bread. In the meantime, as you saw from a bit of b-roll, I did go shopping. Me and my partner, we went to Ashford Outlet really early morning so that we could get there when it all first opened, so that it was quieter, and there was a few bits that I just needed to pick up for the home. First of all, I needed a new wok, and I decided to get myself a decent wok this time rather than always go for slightly cheaper ones. Plus this gorgeous green colour, I was like, yes please. And with the Black Friday sales, this was a really good price, so I got myself a new wok. I also got myself a couple of other kitcheny bits. I got myself a little fine grater for when I do that lemon drizzle cake again, or any other recipe that causes you to need extra tiny. I also got myself grinder thingy. It's basically a juicer because I didn't have one, and that was also pretty decent price. And then lastly, I just got myself a round cake tin because I've only got the loaf size. I actually feel like I really want to bake a cake, but I'm back to work soon, so I probably won't be because I'm on late shifts. I'm not really going to eat it of a late turn, so I will probably do that once I've got another day off at some point. And then lastly, just some candles because I was running low. I love to burn a candle, especially like when I'm editing and reading, like it's really nice, but my one's like half gone, so I was like, I need to stock up. I always use Yankee Candle. I love Yankee candles. We've got black coconut and autumn daydream. Random little houseware, homeware haul that you did not ask for but got anyway. Oh wait, I actually have a book. Hang on. This was a pre-order, which is The Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt by Chelsea Iverson. Now I picked this one up because I'm planning to read it in my cozy new releases video. It comes out in December. I got it a couple days early. I don't know how my local bookshop does it, but they always manage to get them in a couple days early. And this one was on my list because it said it's for fans of The Magician's Daughter and Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which are two cozy fantasies. However, I'm now really worried because two friends of mine that I really trust their reviews, Danny and Leandra, as always, I'll have them linked below. They read this one and gave it 1 star, and their review on it was mismarketed. It's not cozy fantasy. And so now I'm really worried. I'm like, oh, is it gonna work for that cozy new releases video? But honestly, there isn't much coming out in December in the cozy genre, or at least not that I could find. So I don't know, I think I'm gonna do some more research, see if there is a book that I've just missed, see if I can swap it in last minute. I still want to give this one a try. If I can't find anything, we'll still try it, but I'm a little bit worried because I mean, like, it should be, because it literally, the tagline here is like, true magic is found among the bluebells and brambles, and that sounds amazing, but also I'm now worried because what if it has just been mismarketed, which is a thing, and you know what, it happens and sometimes you can't help it, but I guess we'll just have to find out about that one, and you'll see all of that. That will come out in January. As I always do, it's always the month after the books have been released that I get the video up for. Reading, what have I been up to? So I haven't read any of Miss Benson's Beetle. I've instead decided to focus on finishing Nona the Ninth, which I am really close to doing. I'm now up to chapter 24, page 351. So I've got about, I think, is it like 80 or 90 pages left to go of this book, and I am loving it. Everything's really ramping up. There's so much more action, and I honestly think this is going to be left on another cliffhanger, which, it's one of those things because it's like the 4th book is not out yet. I can't do much about that, but I'm really enjoying this. This is really good and definitely my priority to finish probably this evening, potentially, we'll see. But yeah, I really am enjoying this one. Now I have started Every Exquisite Thing, and I have been reading this of an evening time when I am tired, so like an hour before bed. As I've mentioned before, I cannot read Nona the Ninth when I'm tired because they just require so much more, like that series just requires so much more concentration. Instead, I've been picking up Every Exquisite Thing, and this is exactly what I need because Miss Benson's Beetle would be good for that. However, when I'm tired and I'm reading that book, it's going to put me to sleep. So I might read a chapter or two and then it'll be done. This one is a really easy read while also being intriguing, so it keeps me up for that little bit longer. So in this one, I am currently up to chapter 8, page 62. So I still haven't read loads of it. I am liking this one. So in this, we're following Penny, and she's at this Dorian Drama Academy, and we see how she really struggles with self-worth. She doesn't feel like her mum really loves her or cares about what she's going through, doesn't feel like she's ever going to be able to live up to her mum's standards. She's got a very difficult relationship with her mum, which you do start to explore in this first bit of the book. Also, trigger warnings for eating disorders, because Penny punishes herself by starving herself. So if she feels like she hasn't done a good enough job about something, she'll starve herself. She also starves herself because she thinks she needs to look a certain way and maintain a certain image. Like, her life is constantly viewed at through a lens of others because her mum is so famous that of course it then reflects onto Penny, and she's got to deal with that. And her way of dealing with that is just trying to control her own body. She has so little control in a lot of things. That's how she controls it. So trigger warnings for that. It is really, really prevalent in this book. But we are starting to get into some of that darker stuff as she's now being tutored by this particular person, and we haven't got to that bit where she's actually being tutored yet. She's just about to go to her first tutoring session, and I think that is where all the cultish vibes and stuff is going to come in. And also the prologue of this was really good. Oh, prologue had me so intrigued and I cannot wait. We also have a bit of rivalry between Penny and Davina. Davina is a supremely talented person, and they seem to have a bit of rivalry going because Penny's also very talented. So as the two most talented people, they are of course going to have that innate rivalry as well as other things that are going on, and Penny's done something that she shouldn't have really, and it works as a nice dark academia book. I'm enjoying the vibes. So yeah, this is good, but it's also really easy to read. So this is my of an evening time book. And then the plan is once I finish Nona, I can then read Miss Benson's Beetle and swap between those two books. That has been good. I've been enjoying that. So yeah, that's the reading update. Sorry that you've probably had some like crackly noises. It's because I use this electric hot plate. It's just a bit more consistent than my gas hob, and also electric's cheaper than gas. I use that, but it makes these weird like popping, crackling sounds. Sorry if you've heard that in the background, but I'm enjoying my books. I'm enjoying my reading time, and honestly right now I'm really tired because we were up so early to go to Ashford, which was great because it was so quiet, but I am really tired. So I'm gonna do myself some pasta, and I'm probably just gonna veg out to some YouTube. I have been doing so much extensive research right now into preparing for the championship round of Battle of the Booktuber. I genuinely cannot tell you how many hours I have spent strolling through Goodreads, Storygraph, and looking up different recommendations, different book recommendation videos, trying to look for specific things with specific tropes and stuff. Like I've been hyper focused in on it to the point where I am like obsessing over it now. Like it's all I think about. I was even talking to my partner about it when we were on the train and stuff, and he's like, I'm sure you'll do great. Like no idea what you're going on about. But yeah, it's just every spare minute, that is what I've been doing. Like even today, I was meant to read my ebook on the train journey. The ebook's for another video. Not enjoying that at all. And so instead, I was scrolling through Goodreads and being like, right, okay, they've read this book. That means I could potentially go for this book. Like it's championship round. The stakes are high, and it really is a lot harder. So, and if you don't know what I'm babbling on about, I have got Battle of the Booktuber vlogs. I will link those, and also Danny's channel, because Danny is the one that has created this. It is amazing. She has a whole playlist for it. So go check it out. It is honestly so much fun, and I genuinely cannot believe how she came up with us and the amount of work that's gone into it. Like, are you even going to be seeing these championship round videos anytime soon? No. It's great. I'm really loving it, and I'm loving the competition. And the thing is, I'm so competitive that I'm really like, I need to win, you know? And it's fun. Like, we're all friends. It's so much fun, but also that competitive streak in me is like, no, I'm going to win. That's what I've been doing. But okay, right, I'm just gonna stop rambling because I'm starving and get on and do some food, and I'll catch up with you whenever, I guess. Have made made some really good reading progress. Actually, I'm kind of surprised. I've actually finished 2 books since I last updated, and it's been like 2 days, which I'm happy with. So to start off with the book you know I was reading, which is Nona the Ninth, and I did finish this one out and I had so much fun with this. I thought it was brilliant. It did end on a cliffhanger, just like I thought it was going to, but yeah, fantastic book. Really enjoyed this one. I just love this. I think Tamsin Muir is such a clever author, and I definitely will read anything they put out. I now am waiting with everybody else for that 4th book, with no idea when it's coming out. Really excited. Regardless of when it does come out, it's probably going to come out in hardback, so I'm going to wait even longer. I want my collections to match. But yeah, this was really good. I really enjoyed it. I loved just how different it was, and I suppose it could be argued that this was pretty much like a filler book in a way, because where it left off from the 2nd book and going into what is the 4th book and kind of what I expect from that one, I feel like this one was a filler. But also it was really good, and I really liked it, and I like exploring the characters, and I feel like you got to feel for them a lot more, which I really appreciated, and it worked. And so while it could be argued that this is a filler book, it's a filler book that I was so happy to read. I enjoy trying to piece these books together and just seeing how it all works. I loved this. I really find it interesting and fun, and I love seeing how Tamsin Muir's just mind works. Like, it's so good. Very much happy with this. There is a little additional story right at the back which I haven't read yet. I do the same with all of these. All these editions have had an extra little short story where I've just then saved it for a little bit later when I'm getting that feeling of I want to read something from this universe, and I can do the little short story, so I'll be saving that as always. But it does mean that with finishing this book, I have ticked off the prompt of over 400 pages, because this was like 470 something pages. This was really good. I loved it. It was fantastic. If you do like a complex book, if you're interested in starting sci-fi, give this one a try. Like I say, it's not going to be for everyone because it is really complex and getting used to some of the characters and things, but I do think it's worth it. We are getting closer to that 2nd bingo, but now the 2nd book I actually finished, and that was not a book I was expecting to pick up, but I was doing, as we know, my Battle of the Booktuber research, and a book came up that 2 people had given 5 stars to, so I was very intrigued and realised it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, okay, let me give this a try, because I had like a 2-month free trial of Kindle Unlimited, so I'm like, I'm gonna max this out and see how many books I can read that other people have enjoyed so I can give better recommendations. It's really difficult to give recommendations if you haven't read that book, but the book in question is This Is Where We Talk Things Out by Caitlin Masu. This one it was fine. It was 90 pages long. I didn't see the hype that the others saw the hype on this. We are following a main character whose mum is very narcissistic, doesn't understand boundaries, and it's a horror book, so it takes it to an extreme level. I will say for me, it was really predictable, kind of knew what was going to happen. The very ending I did actually really enjoy, and it gave me vibes to something else, which I don't want to say because that would be a spoilers and it's only 90 pages long, so I'm really not going to give you much more than what I've just said, but I do think it was interesting. I liked the mother-daughter relationship and seeing how that was explored and just seeing how unhinged everything was. Yeah, it was good, but it wasn't anything like, oh my god, amazing or shocking or things like that. It was just kind of what I expected, and it went in the direction I expected, and yes, it was taken to extremes, but it's horror, you expect that. So yeah, it was fine. I'm pleased I read it, because then I can get an idea of what my other competitors like. 90 pages, it did not take me long to read. I read this on my lunch break at work. It was an easy read. But this one actually does fit for a few different prompts on Winterathon, which is really cool. It doesn't really matter where I put it. It fits for 3 different ones. So we've got snow on the cover, set during winter, because this is set during a snowstorm. It's in a cabin in a snowstorm, so you get this isolated setting, which feels a bit claustrophobic, which I did enjoy the atmosphere to that. And then it also does work for under 300 pages. So honestly, it doesn't matter which one I put this one for. I think I'll just stick it on under 300 pages. Why not? Would I reread it? Probably not. There was nothing bad to say about it. It just didn't have that visceral reaction that I think others have had to this. Which brings me on to another book I've started, not far into it, literally only 30 pages, but I'm also reading this one for research. One person has given this 5 stars out of my competitors, and then I'm like, could I use this for something else? I'm not sure. So just giving it a read and decide if it's something I would recommend. Based on these 30 pages, I think the writing's really good, and I am preferring this a lot more. Why can I never remember that title? This Is Where We Talk Things Out. And that is The Har by David Sodergren, and this I'm actually really enjoying. So we're following a main character called Muriel, and Muriel is 86, I think she is 86 years old, and she has been in this same little village in Scotland for generations. This is where she was married, this is where she's had her son, like this is her life, this is where she grew up. But we have this wealthy billionaire that's trying to buy out this village so that he can build a golf course, and she is refusing to move. She is refusing to sell out. Doesn't matter how much money he's throwing at her, she is refusing. So now they're starting to play dirty. They are doing construction work all throughout the day and night, making it impossible for her to sleep. We just had something happen that was just so like awful, but it really is showing how money can get thrown around and so much can happen because of it. Because even something like the construction work happening all throughout the night and stuff, that's actually illegal, but doesn't matter because there's been so much money thrown at it that the local councils, they're not doing anything because, well, they've got so much money thrown at them to accept that this is happening that it's only a matter of time. So I'm really enjoying this. I really like Mario as a character. This book made me realise how much I love elderly main characters, like genuinely love it. I love Thursday Murder Club. I love the Marlowe Murder Club. I also love, damn, I just had it on the tip of my tongue and it's gone now. Basically, I love an elderly main character. Okay, I just love it. I think they're amazing and awesome, and I just really love seeing them in a book. I think because a lot of the time they are so set in their ways, they are so unapologetically themselves that I just absolutely love it. Like Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, and actually, do you know how many mystery books I've got with elderly main characters that I have just purely enjoyed? And I genuinely think it's because of the elderly main character. Like, I genuinely love them. But yeah, so this is where we're at. We're only 30 pages in. I'm really excited to see where this is going. This is a book that lots of people are given 5 stars. I think like Gabby is another one that gave it 5 stars. So I'm really intrigued to read this. Even if I don't end up using this as a recommendation, I'm just really excited to read this one. So yeah, so I'm going to continue on with this one. It's only 200 pages. I'm 30 pages in, so we'll see how much of this I get read. Honestly, it just depends how busy work gets. Like sometimes I'm able to take an extended break and I can chill out and read. Other times I can't. We'll see how it goes. So that's like some random books that I've just picked up. I don't know what this one's going to fit for prompt wise. I think cover wise and stuff, it's not giving me anything that can help with the prompts. So we'll see. I think when I've finished it, I'll see what it fits for. It is happening around Christmas, so I could do set during winter. But yeah, okay, and then books I'm in the middle of. So I still haven't read any more of Miss Benson's Beetle, but now that Nona's done, I probably will get to that one. Although it's one of those things that the longer I keep putting it off, the less I want to pick it up. But I do actually like it, so I know I want to read it, and I know once I get back into it, I'll be fine. But I am really enjoying Every Exquisite Thing. I think this is just such an easy read, and I like the kind of gothic dark academia atmosphere. This could go deeper into atmosphere and things, but also it's young adult and it's working fine for what it is. At the minute I am up to chapter 19, page 165, so I'm pretty much almost halfway through this book and I'm enjoying this. It's been great because I'm back to work, but I did so much editing and that on my days off that I don't need to edit for the next few days. So the mornings before work I can literally just do whatever I want. So like this morning I started out my day with having a hot drink and playing a bit of Animal Crossing, and then I've still got 3 and a bit hours before I need to go anywhere. So apart from doing some lunch and some washing, I'm just going to be chilling out reading. So I think I'm going to be able to actually easily get all the books finished this week because I was advanced in my editing, which is great. It's probably not going to happen next week because working a lot and then I'll have to edit things, but it's nice to have this week to just finish out my November read. Back to this. I'm enjoying it. I think it's good. We have another difficult mother-daughter relationship, which always seems to be the case. Like, I don't know how often I've read darker books where it's the mother-daughter relationship that's so strange. It's just a thing. We've seen Penny make this decision that she instantly regrets, and we're now at that point where in the synopsis it tells you you've got this murder happening, and that is where we're at. And Penny is going to investigate to try and stop it because she's just like, I've made a terrible mistake, and this terrible mistake is going to come to bite me in the butt. I need to try and solve this, stop the murders from happening, and see if I can reverse what I've done, because what the hell. And I'm liking it. It's just such an easy read. Like, I just breeze through this. I honestly think that with the time I've got today, I could easily spend an hour reading this, and then, okay, I'd probably do like an hour and a half reading this, and then like half hour on Miss Benson's Beetle. Get a really good chunk of this read because it's so easy to read. And this book, I mean, the font and everything is massive, so it's so comfortable to read as well. So I'm just flying through this one. Like, do I have any suspects? No. Am I trying to actively solve this? Not really. I'm literally just here for the vibes, and it's working. Like, I like it. Is this going to be anything that I'm like, oh, it's a new favourite? No. Would I reread it? I don't know, but I'm liking the take on Dorian Gray. I like the way that there are certain things that have been added into this, which I like. It is very much a lightly inspired book on Dorian Gray. It's not anything where you could go, oh yeah, this is a pure retelling. No, this is inspired by, not a direct retelling, which I actually like that as well. I think this is one that like potentially I could send to my sister. I'm not sure if she's read this book or not, but like I could send it to her to read and I think she'd like it. Like, it's an entertaining enough read. Is it one that I'm gonna reread? Is it one that I'm gonna keep thinking about? Probably not, but I like it, and I like seeing books that are inspired by classics. And that's it. That's all the reading updates. That's what I've been doing. Yeah, that's me done. I'm going to do another update for another video and then probably do some lunch and just chill. Really, I'm really pleased that I got the amount of editing done that I did to give myself a break, because normally I would spend an hour every day editing before work or after work, depending on what shift I'm doing. But actually it's been really nice to not have to do that, to know that for the next, what day are we on? We're on Thursday, so for the next like 3 days I don't need to do any editing, so I can literally just focus on reading and chilling and doing whatever I want, which is lovely. I'm now just waffling at you and repeating myself, so I'm gonna go and update a whole different video. Good morning. I have once again finished a book. We're on a roll this week. I'm pretty impressed with that, which is great. It makes up for last week where I just didn't really finish anything, but I have finished every exquisite thing, and I did enjoy this one. I thought it was, like I said, a really interesting inspiration on Dorian Gray. Is this a book I'm going to be rereading? I don't know, but I spoke to my sister and she is interested in reading this one, so I'm going to send this copy down to her so that she can read it, and if she prefers it more than I do, then she can keep it. I liked it. I'm really pleased that I read this one. I really liked seeing how Dorian Gray was used for inspiration for this book. I just think some of the talk around beauty standards, eating disorders, things like this, it wasn't as fleshed out as it could have been. There's a lot of talk about feeling, especially for Penny, our main character, feeling like beauty is power. I guess in a way, yes, because of society's standards and things, but also it would have been great to see her develop more past that. But I mean, it wasn't the main focus of the story, and she does develop a bit by the end of this book. I think it was actually really good. It was a move that she made, and kind of embracing herself and realizing that it doesn't matter what other people think about how you look, it is about how you feel in yourself. And so I did like that by the end of this book, but there is so much, especially Penny throughout most of this book, going, you know, I'm so pretty, I'm so beautiful, I need to make sure I keep it this way, and things like this, and just being so hyper aware. And I just feel like it shows a lot of the pressure, especially with social media. And there is a comment in here about how everything you do, like you're being photographed all the time, there is always that bad photo out there that you aren't happy with and things, and just how it can really generate a really toxic mindset in people and how out of hand that can get. But I also kind of wish it went a little bit deeper into that. So I don't know, I feel like a lot of stuff was surface level, I guess is what I'm saying about this book, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent enough read. It was fine. I liked the gothic elements of this book, but I think it will probably be a case that I'll probably send it to my sister, she'll give it a read, and then decide whether she wants to keep hold of it or whether she wants to pass it along herself. I actually quite like sharing books with my sister. It's really fun to do, and just to get her opinion on things as well, and just see whether it's things that I've missed or what she prefers and stuff. So yeah, but I liked it. It was a decent read. Do I think it was worth the hype that I put on this for myself back when it first came out? No. So I'm actually kind of pleased that I waited the length of time I did to get around to reading this one. Otherwise I feel like I would have been a bit more disappointed in it, but I can appreciate it for what it is. But yeah, so that's that one. I read a little bit more of, oh wait, I didn't even say, hang on a minute, before we move on. This book does work on the Winterathon for a TBR veteran, because this one has been on my TBR for over a year, which, yes, there are books that have been on my TBR for longer, but for me, if it's been on my TBR for over a year, in my mind, that is a bit of a veteran, because I really want to focus on reading the books that I'm buying a lot quicker, which, you know, are we ever going to get there? Probably not, but yeah, so that's worked for that one. So we're so close getting that second bingo, so freaking close. And as I was saying, I have read a bit more of The Heart. I haven't finished it. I am liking it. It's getting quite like violent in places. It's kind of giving me almost like The Purge feels, and showing how when you've got money and influence and stuff that you really just don't have any respect for others, the things that you can get away with because of that. So I'm liking this still. I really am. I'm interested to see how certain aspects of it grows. So yeah, I think I'm about halfway through now. Let me check, actually. I can check this. I have my phone literally right by me. I am up to chapter 11, page 73, so I am almost halfway through this book. Hopefully I can get this finished out soon. I would really like to get it finished out soon because there's another book I've got my eye on as an ebook to read before I move on to ebooks for my cozy reading vlog. Really hoping I can get that done, all for Battle of the Booktuber stuff. But honestly, it's been kind of fun to just read some different things that I wouldn't have picked up for ages because of Battle of the Booktuber, and it's just been great. Anyway, I read a little bit this morning of Miss Benson's Beetle. I am up to chapter 29, page 199. I think I've got like 100 and something. I've still got quite a bit of this book to go. I've got 190 pages to go. I don't think I'm gonna get this finished in time because I was thinking about this morning, and it's like I read a nice little bit of it. I was really happy to read it with my hot drink first thing in the morning. That was lovely. It's a really nice relaxing way to spend the day. I like doing that for like an hour. Don't really want to read more of it right now. And I am thinking that I'm probably just going to read this slowly and maybe just finish out over the course of December rather than finish it in November, which is frustrating because it's going to stop me from getting that Winterathon bingo, because this one works for a thrifted book and I'm just not going to get it done in time. I know if I sit there and read a big chunk of this, which I could do this morning because, as I've said, like today is the last day where I don't need to do any editing before work, so I have time to sit down and read something and just get it read. But I also just don't want to do that. Like, and even if I did that, I still wouldn't get this full book finished. I think I would still have about 100 pages left to go of this book, and then doing that tomorrow when I'm editing and stuff, like it's just not going to happen. And I don't really want to force myself to read it because I do like this book. I think it's really nice and heartwarming, and it's just a nice quiet story. Don't want to read it very quickly. I'm really enjoying taking my time with this one and just seeing that friendship slowly develop, and it is a quiet story. Also, there are some moments where the writing in this one is it's actually in one specific perspective, which I'm not talking about, where we get instances of certain words and certain phrases being used that isn't how we would address things now, which is a little bit jarring every so often because this book is not an old book. It was written in 2020, and so yes, it really does work for the setting of this book, 100%. The character themselves isn't the best character, but it does sometimes take me a bit out of the story, so I don't actually like reading loads of this in one go, but I'm still enjoying the storyline. I still like the main storyline of Marjorie and Enid and seeing the way they come together. There's a little bit of a mystery around Enid's backstory, which we're slowly unpicking, so I really like that as well. So I feel like there is a lot to like about this book, but I'm also having to read it slowly. So I don't want to DNF it, but I also don't want to rush read it. What I'm planning to do after this update, I'm actually going to start next week's vlog and I'm going to do another roll for Bucket Listathon and see what my next book is going to be, and then maybe just read a bit of that one today and then pair it with a bit of this. But again, it's one of those things, like I have to go with the mood. If I end up forcing this, I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I could, and I know loads of people have really enjoyed this one and I can see why. Like, it's a very quiet tale about two women finding themselves with a little bit of extra things sprinkled in to keep a bit of interest going, but it's a quiet tale, and I actually really like that. I mean, we know that I love my cozy book, but because of my cozy new releases vlogs, the way they work is I read 2 to 3 books over the course of 1 month, which means that I'm picking them up slowly and things like that. And I think I've got so used to that with cozy books now that trying to read them all inside a shorter period of time, I actually don't enjoy it. Like, some of them I do, don't get me wrong, some I actually really love reading very quickly, but I actually prefer taking my time with a cozy book and just picking it up and having like an hour a day with it and just relaxing and enjoying it. That was a really long-winded way of me saying that. I think I said that like 3 times, but yeah, yeah, I mean, I do like it. It's just, it's a quiet read, and I like having one of those on the go, but I just don't want to rush read it, and I'm in the mood for something else now. So I want to see what I'm going to get on Bucket Listathon, but I also want to do that for the start of next week's vlog. So I think that's just what I'm going to do. And then I'll check back in to wrap up this vlog, and we'll just see what I actually finished out and did. I mean, regardless, I think we've done really good progress. I mean, we finished quite a few books this week, so I'm very happy with that. Bit bummed that we're not getting that bingo, but again, I could surprise myself. But also, as much as I want to get the bingo, I don't think it's worth rush reading a book that I want to take my time with just to get a second bingo. I don't think that's really worth it. So, but there we are. Okay, right. Well, we'll see what this next update wrap-up bit is actually going to be, whether I've actually finished anything, what I've actually done. I don't know, but we'll have this vlog on for at least a couple more days and just see what I get done. Good afternoon. I just want to talk about this top for a second because I literally just got it. So I ordered some thermal tops from Uniqlo. I love Uniqlo's thermal tops. They are so freaking warm, and I was replacing a lot of the ones that I had for work. Where I work outside, layering up is so freaking important, especially when literally a couple days ago it was getting to like 0 degrees outside. So I was like, I need to layer up and then make sure I've got some really good quality thermals. And I had a couple from last year, but where I was trying it last year and it wasn't that bad a winter last year, this year it's going to be a freaking bad winter, I feel like. And I was like, I really like the quality, so I'm going to get a load. So I got some simple plain ones, and then I saw they did this and I'm freaking in love. This is like my hippie era. I am in love with this. It is so warm, so comfortable. If they had this in other colors, I would get one of every single color. Like, I genuinely love this so freaking much. So I'm gonna have a look online and just see if they've got any others in maybe like a different style. I think they've got a few in a different style, so I'm just gonna look because I know so many things that I can pair this with that I'm going to love and just embrace the hippie era. And it's really nice to have something that's like a pop of color in winter. Like, oh, I am genuinely in love with this. I am so happy with it. It came out so much better. Like, at first I wasn't sure. I thought this is a bit of a loud pattern. I don't tend to go for quite, I mean, I like my patterns, but not quite like this. I'm so pleased I went for it, and it was in the sale with the Black Friday sale. I love it. I am so freaking warm and so comfortable. The material is so stretchy and forgiving, and it is just the best. I love this so much. But okay, I am here to wrap up the vlog. So, have I read much more? Sort of, yes. So I have read a bit. Have I read a bit more of this? I feel like I have since I last updated. I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I'm editing, but I'm up to chapter 29, page 199. So I read a little bit more of this book. I think I read like 49 pages. It was really nice. I did that yesterday morning, cup of tea, and that's how I started off my morning. And I would have done the same today, except I've been so much more busier. I've got to get back into my editing. I'm doing like lunch for work and things. Like, it's just been a busy morning. I actually don't think I'm going to get any reading done this morning before I've got to go to work, so I also need to get a little bit of food shopping. So there's a lot I need to do this morning. It's fine. I've had 4 mornings of just relaxing and not really doing much. Having this morning as a busy one, it's fine. Also, another reason why I'm wrapping it up here though, because I know I'm not going to get a chance to read, if at all, today. I will be continuing on with this one. I am enjoying it. It is definitely something that I like to start my day off with a nice hot drink. If I don't do that, then it doesn't get read that day, which is a weird routine that I've got myself into with this book, but it's actually like the perfect way to start a day in such a nice mellow mood, because I am enjoying this one. The last little bit that I've read, Enid and Marjorie have just made it to the mountain where they're going to be looking for this beetle, and there's loads of different things that they're trying to overcome. It's just really fun. I really like it. I really enjoy their perspectives. I love seeing these two women, their friendship, how different they are, and yet how they work together as friends. Like, I really like it. We'll be continuing on with this one, but that does mean it doesn't work for Winter-a-thon. However, I did finish The Heart yesterday when I was at work, and oh my god, this book, like, I don't know how I feel about it. So I've been having to upgrade, well, not having to, but I have been updating Goodreads. Again, all part of the Battle of the Booktuber. That will be stopping once January hit. I will not be continuing on with Goodreads. I much prefer just keeping it in my physical reading journal and talking about it here. I'm just not the sort of person that uses Goodreads that much. When I was doing it on Goodreads and I'd finished it, I didn't know what star rating to put this book as, because it's weird. Like, I love the premise of this book. I actually really enjoyed the plot line of this book about how we have this little coastal town in Scotland that we've got a few of the elderly population that is refusing to be bought out by this billionaire. And then some of the really horrible things that he is now resorting to try and push these people out. And it is awful. It is really, really horrible. And it's made more horrible because it feels like it is so possible that those things would be happening. And then we get into the more outlandish horror bits of it, and it feels almost like Lovecraftian in a way. And so I ended up really liking it. I really liked the sea creature and the horror elements of that. I really liked the love story that happened because of it, which was really surprising, but I also loved that. And I do like oceanic horror, so having the horror monster creature be from the ocean, I actually loved that part. What is a bit like, I don't know, is because of how gruesome it got. Some of the body horror was really vivid and gross, and I feel like a couple of those descriptions were put in more for shock factor rather than it was needed. It was good, and I know it's one I'm gonna think about, but also I didn't love those gruesome moments. So yeah, I now need to decide what I'm gonna do with this one, if it's going to be used for recommendations or not. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I might have this one as like a reservation. If I need to swap out something, I might do it then, which honestly I probably am giving way too much information and probably shouldn't be talking about it. But yeah, but you know what, it was a really interesting one to read, and it was a learning curve for me in my horror taste. Let's do a run through of everything I've read and where we are with Winterathon, because it's officially the 1st of December, which means Winterathon has finished, and I'm so pleased I got the heart in yesterday and finished it out yesterday, so it actually does work for Winterathon. But okay, with the Winterathon bingo, we started off with 7 prompts ticked off at the start of this week from the previous weeks that I have been taking part in the Winterathon. So this week I have finished No Other Nymph, which I used for over 400 pages, and I loved this. This is such a good book. Really enjoy this sci-fi world, really interested to see where it's going to continue going, and honestly so pleased I got that read by the end of the year. I'm so happy with that. I also read Every Exquisite Thing, which is a young adult Dark Academia book, which I did like with the inspiration of Dorian Gray, and this one worked for a TBR veteran. Then ebook wise, The Har I'm actually going to be able to put down for a winter setting because this is taking place like near Christmas time. And then I also read, oh, what was that book called? I always forget. This Is Where We Talk Things Out, and I put that one in for under 300 pages. Pleased with the amount of prompts we got done, considering we did that all with no doubling up. I'm really happy with that. And then this week I have read tiny bit more of Miss Spencer's Beetle, which if I had finished would have gone for Thrifted book, giving me that second bingo. But you know what, as much as I want all the bingos, I also want to enjoy my books that I'm reading and take my time with them, and Miss Spencer's Beetle is a book that I need to take my time with, so that is what I'm doing. But yeah, there we are for this week. I'm actually really impressed. We finished 2 physical books and also read 2 ebooks this week, which I think is fantastic. I've had so much fun with the Winterathon readathon, so thank you so much, Rainey, for putting that all together. It has been so fun. This week we did only do the 1 roll for the bucket listathon, and that was a hyped read, which was Every Exquisite Thing, as we know, putting me at a total of 4. So I've got 2 more rolls that I need to do. I did one yesterday for next week's vlog, so I've got 1 roll left for that, and then I would have completed that, which actually worked perfectly because then after that I'm actually going into my themed vlog for December. So yeah, it's been a really good time, really productive, really happy with this reading week. It's been a complete mix. Did I expect to be reading 2 horror ebooks this week? I mean, they were short. The longest one was The Har, which was 200 pages. The other one was only 90 pages. Like, did I expect to be reading that this week anyway? No, and it only happened because I wasn't a fan of the cozy book I was meant to be reading, and then getting these done. Like, I'm really happy with the reading progress. I feel like it was great to finish November in such a strong state, feeling really ready to go into my December reads and all the festive, Christmassy coziness that I've got planned with those books, because honestly it's just gonna be a good time. But okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know if you took part in Winterathon and how you enjoyed it, or just what was your last book of November or your favourite book of November. You know, let's just have a chat in the comments. I always really love being able to chat with you in the comments. Like, it's so much fun. I love the community that we're building. But okay, I'm just gonna keep on rambling, so I am actually gonna go. If you've made it this far but don't know what to comment, then let's do a dog emoji for Nona, because I loved this book. It was fantastic. fantastic. I don't need to go on about that series. You've heard me talk about that series so many times, but I love it. So yeah, if you've made it this far but you just don't know what to comment, then leave a little dog in the comments below, and I will see you in the very next video. So if you have enjoyed it, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.